Hi, Miss Lubow here for Gnome Homes and Faerie Garden Fridays. Today we are going to work with egg cartons and some buttons, and you will be using your string or fuzzy sticks perhaps from in your bags. So when you're ready, let's do this. So today I'm going to start off with our egg carton. Some egg cartons actually have different shapes on the bottom. This one is either a square or perhaps a diamond, depending on which way you look at it. Some are actually round. What I'm going to do is I am going to cut off a section of 2 and then just 1 for younger kiddos. You may need a grown-up's help to do this. Also depends on how good your scissors are, how sharp they may be. This one's a little difficult. And so that is what it looks like. Now, here is my single, and here is my double. So I think I'm going to trim this up a little bit. I started to make 1 cut right there. But what might be a better idea is if I take a pencil and I draw what I want to cut out and then follow along those lines. Again, younger kiddos, you may need a grown-up to do this for you, which is absolutely fine. It is, I think, a nice family activity. So I've made that line and I'm going to cut that area out. So I sort of trimmed around my edges just to make them a little bit more clean cut. And in order to make this one even, I just bent the feet up a little bit more. So I have my shapes cut out. This could just be a little spot to get out of the rain or sun. Not quite sure yet what I have in mind for these. I'm thinking maybe this could just be a little shelter. This could be a little spot for a gnome or fairy to sleep or sit or lie. On this piece, I put in some washable marker. I used some washable marker, and as I let it dry, there is nothing. It has dried, it has soaked in. For this one, if you remember, in your bag, you've got some of these little green flower leafy looking things. Well, I was thinking that I may glue these on top of this. Sort of sparkly, shiny. So that is what I'm going to do. So I decided just to put a little dab of glue right on to my egg carton piece. Spread that around. That's a lot. Can go right over the edges. I don't know that I would use stick glue. However, regular Elmer's, regular school glue will do the trick just as well. So I'm going to put a few of these. So I'm just going to keep adding glue and adding more of the little green leaves, I will call them. Just kind of layering these a bit as I go. Could also put moss. You could put star stickers, any type of sticker you have at home. Some of the bird sequins in there. There's quite a few in here at the bottom. right there. I could put those around. Maybe I'll do that on the side. So I kept layering and layering, and this took quite a bit of those little green leaves, paper leaves. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. So for this one, I cut down my little piece in the middle. It will make a nice little spot for the gnome or fairy to go into and just take a nice afternoon nap. Again, if your grown-up doesn't mind, could take some felt. I could maybe just cover the top and the sides with some felt. You could try construction paper. I don't know how well that may stick, and of course you need some, definitely need craft glue if you were going to use the felt. I know it is not something that was in your bag. I also talked before about how I had the leaves. Maybe I'll put some leaves on the top. Crisscross applesauce a little bit, and maybe I'll cover the sides with some moss. The other thing I talked about were buttons. And I just have some brown buttons. And this one, I don't even know what happened. It looks like it's glue or something on it. But you know what? I don't think a fairy's going to mind. What I can do is layer these up according to size. And I think it's going to be pretty difficult. Each one has a hole. You see the holes in there? Yep, each one has 2 holes. Some are very close together. Some are quite tiny. And I know you have these short pieces. Don't know, I think I may need a piece of a fuzzy stick, a pipe cleaner, a chenille stick. I may need a longer piece. So just to see how this will go, I am going to start with a longer full-size chenille stick. And I have arranged my buttons by size. So I'm going to start with my largest one. We'll see if this works. Then, we said this was close, right? I think I'm going to put this one next. Then we have this one. This may be much easier if you indeed do use some string. What I need to do next is take the opposite end, and you can still move these apart. And as I do these things, you know, sometimes I get ideas, and one of my ideas is maybe I will just make one small twist in between. My next one, I'm going to get that right in there. Yeah, it's a little difficult. There I go. I'm going to slide that up through. My next one is right there. Do a twist. And finally, my last button. Before I totally get that on, one twist. Yes, just one twist. And through there. So I am going to take 1, 2, twist that twice. And I'm going to try to cut this down as far as I can. And be careful, the edges are sharp. if you have a pencil with an eraser, you can easily push those down flat and not hurt your fingers. Okay. Now, you may ask, what in the world? Well, for a fairy or a gnome, it could be a table. If you put one or two, maybe three smaller ones together tightly, you could do that with your string or your yarn. That could be a nice little chair. So yes, so there's a table made out of buttons. Also, depending on your colors, if you are someone who has a lot of buttons, you could make this into a mushroom. You could do a couple, maybe 3 of one color, and then a larger one on the top of another color to make it look like the cap of the mushroom. Yes, so there we go. So a little table. I'm going to check on my first egg carton piece. And as you can see, before you could see a lot of white glue, it's drying clear. So for this portion of the egg carton, I've decided that I'm going to use the flowers that I have. I know you didn't have any of these in your bag. What I did was I cut these from the main stem. Then I went further and I pulled off some of these from there. I think I'm going to take one of these sticks, a plastic toothpick, and I'm going to string on some of the, you did get a few of these in your bag, metallic beads. So I just picked some blue and silver, they're shiny. Let's see how this is going to work. I'm going to string through the leaves. 1 and 2. That's a little bit difficult right there. That's challenging. Kind of looks like a little flower all on its own. I could in fact put a flower in there instead. Now I did just poke this through. You may need, for younger kids, you may need an adult's help. So I have to poke those through. So, oh my, it went through. Look at that. So I have a flower growing out of that one. So I actually tugged it down a little more. It's not so wobbly. That way it won't pop up too far if it does pop up. So that's one side. So just pulling through, I actually added a second flower on this side. Maybe I will stick. Now I could cut this. I sort of dread doing that. So I was worried about that being a little wobbly. What I can do though is add another bead. And I think that will fix my problem. So there. Which do you prefer? I think I like the flowers, but those stars are quite sparkly, aren't they? So for my little stool, everything on top is dried, all the leaves, and I decided to take a straw. I know you have a piece of straw, some pieces in your bag, And I decided that I think I'm going to just glue some on the front, just to give it a little color. So I'm just putting some glue right on there. I have craft glue, it is thick. And I am going to put one there, and let's see, and one there. I'm going to put more glue on this side. I'm going to make them about the same size, so I think I might trim this one a little bit close. I'm going to stick one there and one there. There we go. This could be a fairy's little house all by itself. Because fairies are what? Fairies are tiny. I think I'm just going to do that in the front on this one. So here is my button table. This is one of my egg carton creations. You could paint it, you could color it. And this is not yet dry in the front, but that's my other egg carton creation. That leaves us with my rock. The more I look at it, I think, oh wow, it's a little bit more narrow here, widens out just slightly. That could be a ladybug. So I've decided to get a little messy. I do believe I am going to paint my rock. I said I thought it looked like a nice shape for a ladybug. You can see the head here and the wings here. So that is what I'm going to do. I was looking online and I found ladybugs. They were all different colors. Why not paint my ladybug a nice shimmery color? I found this metallic paint that we have. So I'm going to try this. I'm just going to put a little on my plate. Of course, we'll have to think of drying time. Let's see. It's not quite as light as I thought it would be. Add a little white. I am going to take a Q-tip. See if this mixes up. I think I'm going to add more white. Now I'm thinking I probably should have had white and just added some blue to it, which gives me another idea. Exactly that. I am going to add a dab of some, just one drop I'm trying to get. I am curious to see how that will work in here. It certainly is becoming a very light blue, isn't it? Doesn't look shiny though anymore, does it? Let's try this one. This one looks brighter. I wonder. Why not experiment? Let's put one drop of dark blue over there. Wow. Now I'm really getting crazy. This is looking quite blue now. That's darker. Let's add, oh, look at that. I just added some glitter to my paint. Can't really see the glitter in there. Maybe. I don't know if anybody's thought it yet, but it looks like something that would be in Frozen. Ooh. The little ladybug could be a frozen ladybug. And you know what? would be great if you were making a snow-themed fairy garden. I'm going to get a fresh brush. You can see that sparkle. Another thing I could do would be to simply there we go. No, it would have been a good idea to actually mix some glue in with our paint, and that way I know the sparkles would definitely stick very well. There, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I need to let my Ladybug dry. So I'm going to use the rest of this color that I liked for the head of the Ladybug, but I'm not going to put all those extra sequins on. If fairies and gnomes can exist, so can blue ladybugs. Blue sparkly ladybugs. So last week, everything that I made kind of found its home in my gnome home. So this week, I think I'm going to, there we go. I think I'm going to decorate my fairy garden. It's still not dry. It'll get there though. Put that there. I may have to adjust my fairy. Oh, here's a cool idea. So there is my gems, my jewels and my pearls that I glued in. And I decided to really lighten up on all of that tulle. I'm going to sit that right in there. And I think I am just going to kind of make it like a secret spot and put that over top. My fairies can go in there and hang out. I think I'll put this fairy over here. Actually, I'm gonna put this fairy over here, and then I will have a space for my ladybug rock when it's done drying. And here is my table. Maybe in here. Stick my little fairy table right in there. I don't know, I kind of think the gnome might like that table, but we'll see. So there we have it. All of our recyclables, our buttons, our egg cartons, our rock, all bedazzled for our gnomes and fairies. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Next week we are going to be needing our empty, clean mayonnaise jar or any size mason jar that you may have. Doesn't necessarily need a lid. A string of fairy lights, a string of Christmas lights. Battery operated may work better. However, you may also use a tea light. Not a real one, but a battery operated tiny tea light. I think you can get 2 or 3 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So looking forward to that next week. Until then, have a good one. See you next time.